Thank you. Sorry
Get
about
an extra
that.
pen. Nope, that one's not good. Some of these are no good.
I call this council meeting to order at 6 PM, September 9th, 2025. Do we have a quorum, Dina?
Yes, ma'am, you do have a quorum for this meeting.
Thank you. And so we have Scott Smith is going to say the prayer and the pledge first, please.
You said you want to pledge first?
Prayer, whichever you want.
Super. Bow your heads, please. Heavenly Father, we come to you today and we just thank you. We thank you for this great city. We thank you for the residents of this city. We ask that you be with our council and our mayor as we make these decisions through today and the rest of these days. Please hold us up as we continue to help each and every one of these citizens in this city. Please keep everybody safe. Give everybody a good rest of the week. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, next I want to ask Gwendolyn Galley to come forward and read a tribute to our lovely Dixie.
Tribute to an artist. We shall use a blank canvas to splatter all the things you taught us to love the most, with the hopes of creating a portrait of you in tribute, a form of communicating your legacy to others. Art in itself is an attempt to bring order out of chaos. An artist is a difference maker, challenging others to creatively view fresh, new perspectives. Dixie, you took chaos and always created art with it, never overlooking any details, especially the smallest and most joyful parts. You would take small pieces and construct a mosaic every single time, challenging others to be open to viewing the world through a different lens. What do artists do, you may ask? They give you a piece of yourself you didn't know you needed or were missing. A dance, a piece of music, a fresh perspective, a piece of sculpture, a well-delivered speech, a screenplay, and even a creative new way to view the world. You gave everyone that got to know you pieces they didn't know they needed or were missing. You did this with creativity and originality. You empowered others through the artist in you, and that quality will live on in your legacy. In the past couple of years, you discovered a new dimension of your calling. During this time, you embraced civic engagement with everything you had. It became a natural extension of who you were, a soft-spoken but powerful way to pour your heart into the place you loved. Dixie, you were a brilliant thinker and a natural problem solver with a unique ability to see things from every angle. You were a steadfast champion of what you held dear, a determined guardian of doing what was right. Poised with your graceful, prim, and proper demeanor, you blended intellect, creativity, and a strong sense of fairness, leaving a lasting impact on everyone you touched. But above all else, you had one of the biggest hearts any of us have ever known. You had a way of making others feel truly valued and genuinely cared for. Even when you stood firmly for what you believed was right, it was never about opposing a person, only about holding true to your deep sense of fairness. In your presence, others always knew you cared. Even when you would sit with the broken, you always offered grace, compassion, and a friend that would fight your battles right beside you. Dixie, in tribute to the phenomenal artist you were, the pieces of you that others loved the most will always live on as your legacy in the acrylics of others' canvases that you empowered to view the world creatively through a different lens. Go, walk with him through his meadow, where the birds sing his true song and the flowers prove his awesome power. In tribute and loving memory to a magnificent artist, Dixie.
Thank you, Gwendolyn. Yep, that was an awful night, I know for myself and the other ones that were right around Dixie. I drove her here every day. Every time we came, I drove her here, and I asked that you say prayers for Smitty, for her husband. They've been married since college, so it's definitely a challenge for him. He has a new dog that is helping take care of him, and just would like for you to say prayers for her husband and her sister. I would appreciate that. Thank you very much. So we're going to skip around a little bit here. We're about to go to public comments. First, I want to say each speaker shall approach the podium, location, and state his or her name and address before speaking. Speakers shall address the city council with civility that is conducive to appropriate public discussions. Speakers may only address the city council and not individual officials, commission members, committee members, or employees. The public cannot speak from the gallery, but only from the podium or designated speaker locations. And so, before we start that, I want to introduce Thomas Brandt, who's in the back of the room. He was hired by your tax dollars and our insurance with Texas Municipal League. So he is here in the back. He is here representing me, the mayor of Willow Park, because months ago, Brian Grimes, the city manager, started threatening to sue me, the mayor, personally. So I wanted to thank
Point of order.
Tom for being here. Thank you very much. Point of order, you have a point?
Yes.
Go ahead.
This, I didn't see on here the mayor comments section of it. This is public comments, correct? Okay.
Okay, do you want me to say again in a minute? Would you like for me to repeat that in a few minutes? Councilman Eric,
Yes, what?
do you want me to repeat that in a few minutes?
Yeah, whatever, on mayor comments, I guess.
Okay, we can sure do that, thank you. Okay, so next we're going to have the public comment. So we're going to have Carol Wagner come back up.
Good evening. My name is Carol Wagner, and I live at 328 Fairway Drive. I am alarmed and upset to know the departures of City Council members Leah Young and Greg Grunenbaum, and the City Attorney Pat Chesser. We have lost highly valued members with much experience. I am also upset to hear about difficulties faced by city employees. From today's agenda item number 1, City is looking for appointing a deputy city secretary and/or use a search firm for an interim city secretary services. So what is happening to our city secretary? For agenda items number 14, which is going to be in the executive session, and number 18, the future city manager, Brian Grimes, will be discussed. The city council is to consult with an attorney on his employment agreement and a severance agreement. In the name of transparency, why is someone trying to get rid of the city manager? How much are the city of Willow Park taxpayers going to have to pay for a severance package if he is forced out? How much will we have to pay for a search firm to find an interim city manager? Is this all even necessary? Have you considered leaving him in his position? That seems to me to make a lot of sense. As a side note, I would like to thank Mr. Grimes on the outstanding job he has done here in the city of Willow Park. The result of all these people leaving or being forced out is the erosion of the stability of the city of Willow Park. How are day-to-day activities taking place when there are missing council members, no city attorney, the city manager, and city employees are dealing with political and personality issues rather than doing their jobs? This is chaos, and the city cannot function as it should. Any action taken by this mayor and the city council should benefit, not hinder the citizens and city employees of Willow Park. Please put politics and personalities aside. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Stephen Watson.
Good evening, my name is Stephen Watson, I live at 107 Blue Stem Lane, Parker County, Texas. What I have to say today is opinions of only mine, not my employer, and I've not been asked by anyone to be here and speak. I'm here on my own conviction. I speak on behalf of my family, friends, and concerned business colleagues, specifically in Willow Park, who have reached out to me. While I don't live in Willow Park, I pay taxes here. My family buys groceries here. I shop at your retail stores wearing clothes that I bought in Willow Park and paid sales tax on. I patronize your service businesses. I dine in your restaurants. And I bring professional meetings and events that generate commerce for your hotel, civic center, and businesses. Over the past several years, Willow Park's been a shining example of what happens when there's synergy between governance and empowered professional staff. Together, your team has delivered street improvements, strengthened public safety, upgraded city facilities, secured sustainable water supply and water capacity, and advanced economic development projects that diversify your tax base and relieve the tax burden on your homeowners. This vision and teamwork has made Willow Park a desirable place to live, work, and do business. Recently, however, turmoil among your governance has made this progress difficult and created an untenable environment for your staff and shaken the confidence of the business community, many of which are colleagues of mine. If unchecked, this will drive away the very professionals who delivered on these successes for your community. The result will be declining city services and infrastructure, falling home values, and commerce lost to other communities. We have a choice where we spend our money. These are real costs that will fall directly on your homeowners and your taxpayers. And if you lose the team that you have, it will take you years to rebuild the team that can keep putting the wins on the board that they've been putting on for your community. I encourage you, as members of council, to remember that good governance carries a civic responsibility to ensure stable operations, protect city services, and provide a steady path forward for the community you serve. That responsibility cannot be met when policy is ignored and staff are bypassed. I urge you, as a majority of governance, to reclaim that responsibility, reclaim that success, and set and follow clear policy for your staff and protect them when they carry it out and do their jobs. Please provide a clear vision that secures Willow Park's future as a safe, business-friendly, and community-centric town. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. Okay, next we have Kathy Conley.
Hello, my name is Kathy Conley. I live at 621 Knightsbridge, and I moved here in the 1990s. I have not been a part of any of city council or even knowing what was going on or who was on it. But as the rumors fly in the air, I've heard that somebody wants to renew a contract and get a raise. I worked for a major corporation for 42 years, and every time I had an examination or a talk with my managers, I had to sell myself. So I would like to hear from the council, the ones, I guess, pre-existing council members, what has our manager done for Willow Park that I'm totally unaware of? And I don't expect an answer now, but that's what I would like to hear, because I don't know. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Kathy. Next, we have Marcy Galley.
Want to I begin now? Do I begin?
Yes.
Okay. I'm Marcy Galley. I live on Squaw Creek Road in Willow Park. Good evening, Mayor and Council, and good evening, citizens. That's for Dixie. I've passed out a picture taken from the City Hall parking lot. Most people had already left to go home or to head over to the hospital ER as I was doing. I remembered feeling shocked and sick to my stomach. The picture depicts our new legal team joking with the city manager. And my first thought was, how could you all be laughing and joking while a resident and dear friend of mine was fighting for her life? Why? Why did you do that? I was conflicted on how to share my concerns tonight. I considered just handing out a letter with a picture attached to each member of the council. I decided to be an advocate for myself and the public, because the public would not know that, again, the newly hired city attorneys were gathered around and joking with our city manager and his attorney while Dixie was fighting for her life. As I backed my car out of my parking space, I watched all of you walk back into City Hall together. At that moment, I did not feel like anyone was walking back into the building that would be an advocate for me, much less the citizens. Is our new legal team an advocate for this city and its citizens, or are they an advocate for the very employee who is threatening to sue the mayor? Moving on. Tonight's agenda includes yet another closed session discussion related to the city manager. And these closed sessions have been lengthy. The agendas tell a story, and time after time after time, there has been no action taken until the last city council meeting, when council voted to move forward with severance negotiations. It was a 3-1 vote. If this council returns tonight, following the closed session, with something other than a severance agreement or no action, the public should be asking whether negotiations have occurred outside of a public meeting. I keep up with every motion made during council meetings. We're very behind on posting meeting minutes, so I've watched a lot of replays. If subsequent council actions don't align with what council approved to do at the last regular meeting, it is a red flag that city business is not being handled properly. And walking quorums are a TOMA violation. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Marcy. The last one we have, before we move on, is Jean Martin.
I'm Gene Martin. I've lived at 700 Kingsgate Road in Willow Park for 38 years. I sure hope the video and audio is on, because I don't want to have to repeat this again. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the Beal Dean Development Agreement. I know you've heard this before, but they took the video down that was from the last meeting that got abandoned. So here we go. The Beal Dean Development Agreement in Section 2 has definition for something called a district trigger. And that's implemented in Section 3.4, where it says city consents to districts.
Excuse me.
Following the occurrence of a district trigger, this agreement constitutes, to the extent permitted by the applicable law, the irrevocable and unconditional consent of the city to developers' creation of one or more municipal utility districts. But in Section 8.2, called zoning, we find that within 60 days following the adoption of an ordinance approving the annexation of the property, the city council shall consider the establishment of planned development district on the property consistent with the development standards, blah, 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 blah. But basically, it says you're agreeing to everything that they put in the development agreement, and you're going to approve it. And it goes on to say, should the city fail to approve the PD zoning or approve zoning on the property that is in any way more restrictive than the PD zoning without the developer's prior consent, what that means is you throw away the P&Z's responsibility to oversee or give a recommendation on zoning. You make citizens' input and public hearings superfluous. You make the city official city certifications either unnecessary or invalid. And if you attempt to approve anything more stringent than what is proposed in the developer's agreement and its attachments, they have rights, and we do not. I only see 3 scenarios that I can imagine on how this got approved. You didn't read it, and you took somebody's word that it was okay. You did read it, but you didn't understand it, and you didn't ask any questions. Or you did read it, and you did understand it, and you went ahead and said, yeah, that's okay, we can abandon the city requirements on how to approve and control zoning. And there seems to be questions concerning getting the annexation correct. My opinion, the demand letter from our neighboring city should be a public record. It should have been in the packet for this meeting. And then there's water. Was it the position of the council that we have the ability to obtain an unlimited water supply? That we might be able to, and I quote, wholesale, unquote, water? Do we have a magical means to create water? Because that'd be worth trillions, wouldn't it? Take care of our debt problem. Okay, that's all I'm going to say on that. Sponsorships for agendas. They're useful to allow the public to know who proposes the issues that affect the public. They allow the public to give up appropriate credit for the concepts that the city council champions. And also, Municipal Code, Section 1.03.035 states, quote, all items to be placed on the council meeting agenda shall require a sponsor, unquote. Can't wait to see how that discussion goes. And you're going to deliberate the appointment of Planning and Zoning Commission members as an executive session item. Now, as you know, I've spent a lot of time sitting on this dais as a council member, and I helped appoint a whole lot of people to the P&Z. I do not recall ever needing an executive session item to discuss anybody as an applicant for, a potential candidate for any board or commission for this city. I don't think that's a personnel item. And seems even more out of place since there's no corresponding agenda item for action on anybody to be appointed to the P&Z. So the question I have is, has the mayor actually made a recommendation for appointment of any person you might find some excuse to discuss? Or are you just going to discuss the process of appointing somebody to the P&Z? Because again, that's not personnel, and that doesn't belong in an executive session. Oh, okay. Oh, by the way, and I know I'm not supposed to address anybody in particular, but Mr. Crummell is the mayor pro tem, and so I was going to congratulate you, sir. And as a previous mayor pro tem, I can tell you that what that gets you and a couple of dollars, you can go get a cup of coffee at Starbucks.
Thank you, Jane. Okay, we're going to move on to our consent.
Excuse me, I turned in a comment sheet.
Oop, did you put a number on it?
Yes, I did.
What was the number you put on it?
13.
Okay, didn't you want to go in front of 13 home
It
rule?
doesn't matter.
Did you want to go now?
I just assume go now.
Okay. Janice Miller, come on up.
Janice Miller, 708 Queensway Road. This is in regard to the Home Rule Committee. I would like to be assured, as I think many of us would be, that an attorney is always present at the Home Rule meetings. That way, we're not going backwards when there might be issues that are not appropriate. And if we have an attorney there at all times, then we stand a better chance of not having to correct things along the way. So that's my issue.
Okay, thank you,
Thank you.
Janice. Okay, now we're going to move on. Okay, moving on to our consent agenda. We have items 1 through 3, the city council meeting minutes for January 8th, July 8th, July 15th, and July 28th. Does anyone have changes to the meeting minutes? If not, is there a motion?
Yes, on item 3, meeting minutes for July 28th, 2025, there was a couple things on there that I did not see that I want to make sure we get the city secretary to get those put on there. So number 3, we'll hold off for the next one once we make sure all the meeting minutes are proper on that one.
So your 8th and 15th and 28th, you don't want any of those?
No, those are fine. Only on number 28 is, July 28th is only one that we need to add a
Okay,
couple.
so July 28th is what you're talking about? You want to hold off on that one?
Yes.
Okay, so we're doing July 8th, July 15th, we're holding off on 28. Okay, do I have a motion to approve those two then?
I'll make a motion to approve item 1 and item 2, city council meeting minutes for July 8th, 2025, and city council meeting minutes for July 15th, 2025.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Okay. Okay, moving on forward to our regular agenda items. Number 4, discussion and action to consider approval of engagement letter for city attorney services with Messer Fort, and discussion of permanent versus temporary procurement process and authorization for request for qualification procedure. The recommendation motion is to accept that Messer Fort engagement letter received 4 weeks ago as presented, but I feel strongly that this approval should be temporary while we seek long-term legal assistance through an RFQ. Who else has input for the RFQ? Discussion?
I would ask, if you are asking for an RFQ, what has Messer Fort done that does not meet satisfaction or makes you want to continue the search?
I think from talking to Andy, and Andy, I think you can verify that I have told you you've done a great job when we talk and everything you're advising. So I don't question his advice for sure. I think he's been very good. I just think for the citizens in Willow Park that we should look at options and do an RFQ or look at local firms also. That's my request to consider.
Mr. Messer, are you willing and available to serve in the capacity, whether temporary or extended?
Yes, myself and my firm, both. But I serve at our client is the city council. It's not one individual. It's not one specific issue. It's the city as a whole. That's our ethical obligation, and we're happy to serve at your pleasure. So as we said a couple of meetings ago, if you would like us to continue, happy to do that. If you don't, that's fine as well. We have more than 100 municipalities we serve across the state, and But happy to serve Willow Park and do the city's business if that's your choosing. And then, we have over 20 lawyers that all we do is practice municipal law. That's all we've ever done. That's all we will ever do. And we have over 500 years of collective experience in municipal law and litigation and appeals, and happy to use that to the city's benefit. But I understand other sentiment as well. So happy to do whatever your direction is.
Appreciate that. Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, do we have a recommendation for a motion?
Just want to say first, I really appreciate all the legal advice we've been given thus far. I feel like you've been very fair, unbiased in everything, and just working with us. Obviously got thrown into a bit of a fire here at the beginning, and appreciate each and every one of your members that has reached out to help, from anything from, the new updates with
Right.
that we'll be seeing more in our packet tonight, to executive session items, all of it. And in my opinion, if we found someone that works, we've gone through the process, I'm extremely comfortable working with y'all. You've been nothing but great, and I would like to continue that process. If there is something that comes up, I mean, I've reviewed your terms, and we have the ability to separate at any time through any agreement. And so if there are issues that do come up, we're not locked in for years to come. So at this point, instead of continuing to seek and to search when we have someone sitting right here more than capable, I'd like to make a motion to accept the engagement letter from Messer Fort as presented.
Okay, is that recommendation, we're not gonna check other avenues, we're gonna go for long-term? Is that what your
Yeah,
recommendation is?
If we have somebody here that can do it, I don't know why you would look somewhere
Okay,
else.
So you want to go
Yes.
long-term? Okay, that's your motion. You have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, and y'all have just voted it in. Welcome to the team. Andy Messer. Okay, so number 5, discussion and action to accept the resignation of Councilmember Greg Runenbaum, Place 3. Greg Runenbaum had resigned, and his resignation became effective 8 days after his last resignation, which was Saturday, August 23rd. Councilman Crummell, would you like to make a motion on that, accepting?
Yeah, just a quick word, just a thank you to Greg for his years of service, over a decade, serving our community. Obviously, a strong leader, opinionated in all of his leadings, and just appreciate his leadership, his guidance through the years. Obviously, this is more of a formality as it has gone into effect already, but just a thank you to Greg, and I will make a motion to accept Greg's resignation.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, moving on. Number 6, discussion and action to discuss, consider, and act on setting the date, time, and place for a public hearing on the tax rate and proposed budget for the period of October 1st, 2025 through September 30th, 2026. Brian, did you want to make comments before we hit any motions?
No, just to remind council that we do have to have this adopted by September 30th, so we will need 4 of the 5 members here on September 23rd. Staff has recommended 6 o'clock, as we normally do, for our public hearings. The state, we have a new taxpayer impact statement, which you'll see on the agenda, and you'll see it on the subsequent agenda as well. This is new as of September 1, so it's new required budget language. And when we get down to we doing the tax rate next on 7, is that right?
Right.
Yeah, okay. I'll get the tax rate here in a second. But, so this is just for the budget on September the 23rd at 6 PM.
Okay, so we have that date. So we have any other discussion?
There's a public hearing on this as well. I believe. I was just setting the public hearing, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have a recommendation for a motion.
We're doing, sorry, I'm looking at the agenda. We're doing tax rate and budget on 6. We combine those two, right?
Yes, you
Yeah,
can.
yeah.
So you want to go ahead and do 7 now, too?
Matt, if you look at 6.
Yeah, yeah, I just saw that.
Page, there's a recommended motion on it.
Okay.
You can, if y'all want to look at that, you can look at that and see.
I'll make a motion that the city of Willow Park hold a public hearing on the budget and a public hearing on the tax rate for fiscal year 2025 through 2026, a period beginning on October 1, 2025, and ending on September 30th, 2026, on September 23rd, 2025, at 6 PM at the Willow Park City Hall located at 120 El Chico Trail.
Okay, so we're going to go to 7.
Second.
We need a
Oh, sorry.
That's a
Second.
motion.
Who seconded?
I did.
You did, okay, thank you.
All in favor? Sorry, running along. Okay, now, item 7, discussion and action to discuss, consider, and act on approving a proposed ad valorem tax rate for the period beginning October 1st, 2025 through September 30th, 2026, and setting the public hearing date and time. Brian?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. The proposed tax rate for your consideration tonight is a total rate of 0.421646. That's slightly below the no new revenue rate. That rate consists of an M&O rate of 0.195753 and an interest and sinking rate of 0.225893. As a matter of law, we cannot adopt the tax rate on the same day that you adopt the budget, so we will have to come back here on September the 24th, the following Wednesday, for a what I hope is a quick meeting, because I think Gene has a meeting later that night.
All right. Any other discussion on that? Okay, recommendation for a motion.
Do we need to do the record vote?
Yes, we need to do a record vote.
Okay. Councilmember Eric Contreras,
Aye.
Sean Gillian,
Aye.
Nathan Crummell,
Aye.
and Scott Smith.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so you want to move on to 8? Okay, discussion and action. Each city council member and Mayor Palmer will choose one candidate from the list to interview for the vacancy City Council Place 3, and City Council to appoint and fill City Council Member Place 3 vacancy, and administer oath by Mayor Palmer. So since I receive feedback from citizens who want to observe this process, I feel strongly that the interviews and deliberations should be held in open session. I hope the council agrees with me and the citizens on this. And so at this time, I'd like to receive input from each member of the council as to which candidate you would like to nominate for consideration. After we make our selections, the applicants can move to the conference room, and we can bring them in one at a time to answer questions. After each interview, the candidate can return to their seat in the audience. So let me name the candidates that turned in an application. Buddy Wright, Dr. Jeanette Kerbin, Derek Gregory, Jean Martin, Michael Chandler, Charlie Hodges, and Levi Adler. So we'll start down here with Scott. Do you have a candidate you would like to have an interview?
The candidate I have chosen is Buddy Wright.
Nathan?
My candidate is the same as it was last time, still Buddy Wright.
Okay. Okay.
Buddy Wright.
Wow, about that.
Charlie Hodges.
Okay, mine is Dr. Jeanette Kerbin. So if y'all can step to the conference room, and they can show you the conference room in the back if you don't know where that is.
Parliamentary inquiry. To make this fair, would we need to remove all electronic devices from the candidates so that way no one in the crowd sends them electronic information about the questions we are going to ask?
He's laughing. Does that mean no?
I've never seen that or heard of that, but I could understand the rationale for that. They would have to yeah, Melissa, you want to, so Melissa Cranford is head of our employment section in our firm. We have different sections in our firm. So Melissa, you want to field that?
In this instance, because they're not yet members of the council, we don't have authority to seize their electronic
Okay.
devices.
Just want to ask the question.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Melissa, we would be able to ask them?
That would be up to them, yes, if they wanted to surrender their devices or they
So that would be a council choice.
Do y'all want to
It
take their
doesn't matter
phones
to me.
from them? Their devices from them?
It doesn't matter to me.
It doesn't matter to me. I was asked, or someone asked me to ask that, so
Well, now you have the answer.
there you go. Now we know.
Okay.
Now we know the rule.
Honor system, honor system.
Yeah.
All right, so next what we're going to do is, Scott, we are going to bring out your candidate. Marshall, if you can go round him up. You get him? Thank you. Okay, Buddy. Scott, do you want to ask your questions first?
Sure,
Sure.
absolutely, I'll go first. Buddy, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
First question I have for you, and again, what do you see the biggest challenge or opportunity facing Willow Park in the next 3 to 5 years, and how would you approach addressing it?
I believe that Willow Park right now is at a crossroads of opportunity. We are the portal to Parker County from the Metroplex. Walsh and Morningstar have been growing up on our west side. We've seen Hudson Oaks and Weatherford growing opposite directions. UTA West is coming. Growth is coming. It is inevitable. And we have a unique opportunity right now to shape how that growth occurs. So we need to be planning for appropriate infrastructure to accommodate and facilitate that growth ahead of or at minimum concurrently with that growth. This includes improvements for water, roads, police, all of it. We should prioritize parks and public spaces during that development. We have to maintain Willow Park's quality of life. We should be a city that businesses and other partner municipalities want to work with. Cooperation is going to be better than confrontation, and we can do more together than we can separately. And growth should be geared to maximize our tax base. From 2010 to 2022, our city's sales tax income had nearly tripled. By encouraging and managing commercial growth along the I-20 corridor, we can use the increase in revenue to pay for needed capital infrastructure improvements that benefit the entire community.
Thank you. One other thing here I've got for you. So sometimes as a council member, we've got to make decisions that balance growth, fiscal responsibility, and the quality of life. Can you share how you would approach tough decisions where residents may be split?
I think you have to look at what maximizes benefit for everyone over a long term. There's going to be some degree of short-term consternation over growth. Nobody wants to deal with the traffic, no one wants to deal with all of the construction, all of the mess. But you have to look at things from a long-term perspective of what's going to be good for us. We can let growth happen around us, and we can let every other community around us get that tax revenue, the sales tax revenue, or we can take advantage of it now as our place in the gateway to Parker County.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
That's what I'm.
Yeah. Would you discuss your background, how you think it applies to serving on council and what you would bring to the table?
Sure. First off, my wife and I have been married for 19 years. We moved here to Willow Park in 2012. I've got 2 kids. We've got 2 kids. My son Jack is a junior at Aledo High School. Our daughter Jordan's a sophomore. I grew up in Parker County. Graduated from Weatherford High School in 1991. Spent a college summer working here in Willow Park at Trinity Meadows Raceway. Graduated from Texas A&M in 1996 and returned to Weatherford High School as a public school teacher teaching mathematics for 3 years. I've had several different opportunities in different fields in my career, ranging from education, technology, oil and gas. But for the last 17 and a half years, I've been working at Lockheed Martin Aeronautics, where I'm an operations engineering manager. My job revolves around leading a team to identify and solve supply chain inefficiencies that contribute to excess lead times on aircraft production programs. I manage multi-million-dollar safety stock budgets per program. And to further my career goals and my education, in 2019, I returned to Texas A&M in the College of Engineering. In 2021, I graduated with a master's degree in industrial distribution with 4.0 GPA. I've also served my community in multiple different ways. I've volunteered at the local elementary schools. I have coached youth sports, both soccer and baseball in the local area, and I've supported the baseball and soccer booster clubs at Aledo High School. I am currently the team manager for my daughter's soccer team, and I manage schedule and budgets for 35 families across 2 teams. And at our church home of Aledo United Methodist, I've served on the missions committee. So I'm very proud of the services and the contributions I've made to our community.
Okay. And let me ask you property rights question here. If somebody has a piece of property trying to find, the highest and best use for it, and maybe piggybacking off of some of what Scott said, how do we balance someone's right to do something with their land while also balancing the codes, the things that a city can control in that as well, balancing what they can do with their piece of property versus voices in opposition to it as well?
I would think the first thing you have to do is follow the law.
Well, yeah.
Are you talking about eminent domain? Are you talking about?
I'd say it probably speaks more to a general development question. If we're seeking, I think development's going to be a huge issue in the years to come. And so to me, there's people that have different property issues. I remember one of the things I looked at right before I came on council was the question of a helicopter pad in a backyard. Some of those sorts of things. Can you speak to how we balance letting someone use personal property as compared to, when there are some of those gray areas in the law and what can be defined there?
I would think a helicopter pad might be excessive. From my personal experience, we used to watch the sunset on our back porch when we first moved here. And the neighbors next door to us built a very large, very tall storage building on their property. It's their right to do it. They own the land, but it blocked our sunsets. Did it impede us a little bit? Yeah, but I can't do anything about it because it was their land to make their decision with. So I would think from a development standpoint, the people who own the land really have the first right of what they do with it. That's my easiest answer. I feel like that's a very basic answer. I don't know if I'm answering your question well.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, so I have a couple of them. How do you plan to involve residents in the decision-making process in Willow Park as a council member?
I am lucky enough to work at Lockheed Martin where I am on a 4-10 schedule, so I have Fridays off. So I had I don't know how feasible this is, but I had always thought that if I was lucky enough to be appointed, I would have office hours here on a Friday where people could come in and talk to me. Obviously, email and all of those things are certainly on the table, but I'm approachable. I'm happy to talk to anybody about whatever they have on their mind.
Okay, thank you. If you receive a grant for $1 million to use any way you wanted in Willow Park, what would you do with it and why?
I think that if I had, my first instinct is around parks. My first instinct is around how we continue what we've done at Kingsgate and maybe tie into Trinity Trails if possible. I think that we need to, if we had $1 million grant, we need to, we know growth is coming. We know that that's going to happen. How do we preserve what we have? And I would think that that would be the first thing I would go do.
Okay, thank you. Sean?
All right. I got beat to the questions over there on the other side, so. Your thoughts on economic development, what is the council's role in that? What's your opinion on that and your thoughts?
I think the council has a responsibility to kind of guide where that growth, how that growth happens, and what's acceptable growth for our community. Do we want a whole bunch of liquor stores around the I-20 corridor, or do we want a Target and a Home Depot? What do we want, and how do we make that happen? Those are the questions that we need to work with our community on, to what's best for us in terms of convenience, what's best for us in terms of tax base, what's best for us in terms of livability.
If appointed tonight, what's your first business priority?
For me, I believe that you cannot have growth without infrastructure. And I think that this council has done a very good job in the last couple of years of partnering with Fort Worth and Hudson Oaks to get water in place. We can't do anything without water. We can't do anything without water treatment. So ensuring that we are on a 2-year, 5-year, 10-year plan on managing that infrastructure has to be essential. That and roads. We have to be, you can't drive, if you can't drive somewhere, you can't shop somewhere.
You've already answered this one, but I want to give everybody the opportunity to do this as well too, because I don't think the public saw all the applications. But what kind of groups have you served on within your community, groups, boards, things of that nature? And I know you've already spoke to that, but.
Like I said, I've coached youth soccer and youth baseball in this area. I've served on the missions committee in our church. I have volunteered in our schools, and I've worked in our school booster clubs. So Willow Park is home. This is where we've put down roots. I shared this with you all the last time, but I was lucky enough in 2010 to be on the game show Jeopardy! And I won 4 episodes, and that qualified me to come back for their Tournament of Champions in 2011, where I was a finalist. And when Alex Trebek asked me what I was going to do with the money, I said, I'm going to buy my family a new home. And we chose Willow Park. Willow Park has the perfect blend of small town charm and big city convenience. And so, having said that, that's why we live here. This is home for us. We've put down roots. Our kids don't know other home but this. So there's a need for service to this community to be able to put forth something more than what I get out of it.
Thank you. Thanks.
Buddy, thank you for serving on your mission committee at your church. That's a very noble and honorable thing. It's very important. Right now, we're in the budget and tax season. How would you approach a budget, and what would you look for in setting the tax rate?
You first have to look at what are your essentials. What can you not live without? What are the things you have to have? We have to have road maintenance. We have to have police. We have to have city staff. You have to get to your essentials. Then you have to get your wish list. What would be good to have? What supports our initiatives and what supports our growth? What supports the forward-looking agenda? And then figuring out what what would cover those costs? And how much can you get, to do that while minimizing the burden on your taxpayers?
That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions for me?
I think that's it. All right, so you can take your seat and we'll call the next one in.
Thank you.
Do y'all want to get Charlie Hodges in? They're getting him. Hello. Hello, Charlie.
How are y'all doing?
Good, how are you?
Wonderful.
All right, we're going to start with Scott again down here.
All right, so I switched it up so they wouldn't have the same question, just in case. So, just kidding. On city council, it requires collaboration when opinions differ. Can you give an example from when your past experience where you'd worked successfully as part of a team with differing viewpoints?
That is my job as in the political market, is to bring consensus. I have worked with candidates in trying to get them elected, where you have people who are working with that candidate on what a message should be in delivering a clear and concise message. Back in my earlier days, when I was a state delegate to a convention, we had to get minority groups together to come up with a consistent message, and we did that. And in just this last Republican convention, I don't mind to admit that I went to the Republican convention, we had a congressional district where we had a county that seemed like they wanted to run over everybody with getting people on, and I worked that out to where we wound up having a very, very diverse set of delegates to our national convention coming from our congressional district. And it was really nice to see. And everyone got to work together, and we made it a team within our congressional district to get the right people elected.
Perfect, thank you. Got one more for you. Why would you want to serve as a council member on the city of Willow Park?
I've been a fireman my entire career. Let me explain. I sit here tonight and I see people, no offense, there are people talking past each other. There are people who are not communicating here. We have people on one side, we have people on another, and that doesn't serve the residents of this community properly. What I can do is come on this council and help improve communication. We've already had one person who stood up in front of you today and said the communication needs to improve. I can help with that. That's what I do. For 40 years, I was in the news business. I worked at the newspaper in Springtown. I worked at a radio station in Weatherford. I am no stranger to Parker County. Lived here for a long time. Then I went to KRLD and I worked for CBS Radio. I'm a communicator. I covered President Bush when he was governor. I covered Governor Perry when he was governor. I have met Bill Clinton. I have shaken hands with Barack Obama. I know how people communicate in the political world. One of my best friends is a political consultant who's still high up in politics. I know how to get people to talk together and to put the knives away, put the attitudes away, and become a group. We may not agree, but we sure as heck can agree to disagree.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you've spoken a little bit about it, but could you elaborate on your background and some of the additional things you think will serve you well if selected to serve on council?
I have covered city councils in Springtown, Reno, Azle, little bit nasal, Weatherford, Mineral Wells, Rochester, Minnesota, well, they had a county government, Powhatan, Virginia, and Fort Worth. I have seen the dynamics from the inside. For 5 years, I was the head of public information for the city of Cleburne. Worked for 3 different mayors, a number of different council members. I've covered Cleburne when they went through a very, very difficult water fight. So I've been around the city government from the inside and from the outside. Yet this will be my first time in elective office. So this will be the first time where I actually have accountability. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, for example, in Cleburne, when a police officer shot a dog, public information request came in. City management didn't handle it right. Next thing you know, the city is getting phone calls from Russia. Newspapers in Russia. It became front page stories or lead stories on CNN, Fox News, and I had just left the city when that happened. They brought me back. And this is how I brought peace in that situation. We came up with an emergency plan for the police department to contract with the Grand Prairie internal affairs officers to come in and do an independent internal affairs investigation. We wound up messaging what we could do to help the family. When the investigation came back and showed that the police department did not act inappropriately, or they acted fine, then we had to come up with a way to sell our citizens and others in the community who thought this was just a patch-up job, this was a cover-up for the city, to prove to them that this was real and it was correct and it was a proper investigation. And we had two press events that happened on a Saturday. The city held a press conference announcing the results of the internal affairs, and then we actually sent all the media to the people who owned the dog. And when they agreed that our investigation was proper, a firestorm that hit that city for months went away without a ripple in the water. It just went right down and it was gone. I can bring that to this city.
Let me ask another then on, what are your views on development? How should Willow Park be looking to the future for development? And additionally, like property rights wise, how do we balance, someone's right to highest and best use for their property versus what should be done in a city?
Property development, economic development. We have to realize economic development is an 800-pound gorilla that's going to come in and do what it wants. We guide it. We work with it. We don't give away the store. We don't give them everything we want. But we do what we can to make it the best interest of the citizens and for the company moving in. What are the benefits for the city? How many employees are coming in? What kind of property tax impact will we have for those people who come in and buy homes here? What are we doing to make sure those people can get affordable homes here? What do we do on abatements? Do we give them too much of an abatement? You have to link all of that, how many jobs you're bringing in, what the economic benefit for the city will be, and then you match that with what type of abatement are you going to give. Because there are a lot of cities who give 100% abatements and those folks aren't giving you anything. So you have something there. So that means working very closely with the PNZ and your economic development people to make sure everyone's on the same page, that you're doing something that will be an overall benefit to everyone in the city. And to make sure property rights are correct, you have to have good zoning. The zoning has to be spot on. And that is all work of planning and zoning and economic development, city manager and mayor working together. Everything's a teamwork Councilman Crummell, everything's teamwork. And if people try to go on this alone, we're going to start talking past each other, and people are going to start sending letters, and then we have folks coming up here on both sides wondering what's going on, where just simple communication and working together and being a team will take care of a lot of that. And I think I can help, or I wouldn't be here.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Charlie. All right. How do you plan to involve residents in the decision-making process in Willow Park?
One word, communication. Just simple communication. I'm the president of the Homeowners Association over at Stagecoach. We had a pool that hasn't been properly maintained in a number of years. We looked at it, we knew that there was big problems with it. We have a retaining wall that may need a lot of work. We're talking possibly $250,000. We're a small subdivision. How are we going to get that money? We going to go into debt? I hate debt. We did everything we could to stay out of debt. We put together a plan, a multi-year plan to address the pool. Right now it's a 3-year plan. It may have to go to 4 in case we have to do something with the wall. To raise the money, instead of going into debt, we jacked our homeowners association fees, and I hated to do it, by $300 last year. Offering opportunities for people to pay over time, but we had to do that so we could put money in the bank to be able to do work on the pool. And we started a community outreach, which included a letter that I sent to all the homeowners, Facebook posts, community messaging posts, our board going out and telling exactly what needed to be done. Do you want to know how many objections we got to increasing individual homeowner rates by $300 a year? None. And the reason we did it was that we had a board that worked together. We had a message that was put together that informed everybody in a factual way how we can fix the pool, and we asked for them to cooperate with us, and they said yes. So that's how you put things aside. You communicate.
Thank you. Okay, if you received a grant for $1 million to use any way you wanted to in Willow Park, what would you do with it and why?
I'd call you, and 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 say, we have a chance for a grant. What do we need to do with it? And then I get with every influencer that we have in this community. Everyone. Because it's not one person's responsibility to decide that. It's not the mayor, it's not the council, it's not the city manager, it's everybody. And we find consensus on the best way to use that money. We're a team. And we need to act that way.
Thank you.
Charlie, thank you for being here today. Being at the end of the list, you may have touched on some of the questions I've got, so.
That's fine.
I'm going to keep consistent with everything I ask each one of you guys. What are your thoughts on economic development, and what is the city council's role in that?
City council's role is to work with the Planning and Zoning Commission to be very cognizant of what the PNC is doing and to work with economic development to make sure that the growth that is coming to this city, be it residential, be it industrial, be it business, will create the jobs and the potential income and potential tax revenue to make it worth our while. Plain and simple. And plus, anytime you talk economic development, you have to talk to the school district, because the school district is the biggest nut to crack for any business coming here. And if we feel it's good for Willow Park, we have to be able to have the connections with the school district to let them know they need to give a good tax abatement because it's good for us. We have to have communication all the way around.
If appointed, what's your first priority?
So you and you and you and you and you and you and you will stop battling each other.
Okay.
to get this team to work together. That's it. That's job one.
And last question, you did touch a little bit on this. How have you served your community, boards, groups, schools, whatever it may be, anything countywide as well?
Right now, I'm the president of my HOA.
Okay.
In HOA experience, before that, I was the head of the pool committee of a new subdivision in South Fort Worth. And we set up, we were given 3 pools and 2 Schlitterbahn slides, and we were told to go to town. And we were responsible for putting in hail covers and making improvements to the entire facility, improving security, and helping to make sure that that was a place to where even parents could bring their kids up and they knew that they'd be safe. That's one thing I've done. I was back a long time ago when I worked at the Springtown Epigraph. I worked with economic development there. And another thing, if you're a reporter and you're working in a small town, you have to be very cognizant that you have a lot of power that most people don't. So you have to be responsible in your reporting. Mr. Mullin knows that. I've known him for 30 years. 30? Yeah, 30 years I've known him. Oh, you have to work with the media real well, too. Any other questions, sir?
Not for me. Thank you.
So
We're in the middle, well, actually closer to the end of the budget and tax season. How would you approach our city's budget, and how would you approach our tax rate?
Too late for this year. Way too late. You guys have already made decisions. The horse is out of the barn. And for this year, gotta go with what you got. For next year, what can you live with and what can you live without? What do we do about debt? I've already said I hate debt. I don't like it when an INS debt service is anywhere close to the M&O portion of the budget. Because you're paying things for things that you don't have, or you're paying things for things that you hope will happen. Just hate debt. So to reduce INS as much as possible and make sure that our police department, all of the services that we have coming out of this building are going to our, and I'm not saying citizens, I'm not saying voters, I am saying our customers. Because the people who pay property taxes are homeowners, are renters who pay their landlords, who in turn pay us. They're expecting a service from us. That makes them customers. We have to do better in customer service. Our subdivision, just remind me when I'm done with the taxes. I want to tell you this other thing. So we have to work on the budget with the city manager to make sure that we make it lean, mean, and efficient. And we have to be very, very careful about debt. And maybe change some things. But I'm looking at buying a car. I haven't gotten in to see how the lifter arms are and how the spark plugs are yet. I can give you more specifics once I see that. Does that make sense? Okay. Responsible to the citizens. Our HOA has a parking area on Pony Express Trail right by our pool. This is my third year as president of the HOA. We have had people reach out to the city on who controls the parking lot. The city because it's on the street, or the homeowners association because we desperately need it painted. My administrator for the homeowners association has worked with this city for 5 months trying to get an answer and hasn't heard anything back. Has heard nothing back. That needs to stop. Needs to stop really quick. So hopefully,
We'll talk.
we need to talk.
Yeah.
Anything else, sir?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Charlie. Okay, we have one more. Dr. Jeanette Kerbin, center front. You're up. Hello, we have Scott is going to talk to you.
Great.
How are you?
I'm terrific. Thank you. For
Nervous?
Nervous? Nerves can be good.
That's right, that's right.
As long as they don't polarize you. It's never
No, you're
bad.
good, you're good, that's great. Again, thank you for putting your name in the hat, thank you for being here. Just a couple general questions I've got for you. First one is, what do you see as the biggest challenge or opportunity facing Willow Park in the next 3 to 5 years? And how would you approach it and address it?
Great question. I really sort of kind of already answered that, I think, in the letter, the cover letter that I sent to all of you that hopefully you all got to read. And I know the audience, the citizens haven't heard that letter, but my vision, that would come under a vision, I would think, for Willow Park. And I'll read it from the letter that you have. The cover letter is simple to the people. To grow wisely, govern with transparency, and care deeply for our residents. I want to see our city thrive in a way that preserves our small town spirit while creating opportunities for families, businesses, and future generations. The growth is inevitable. Everything changes. It's constant. So I'm not against growth, but let's be fair. Let's put the citizens first. Let's make sure that our infrastructure doesn't suffer like we've seen it suffer at our home on the very, very far side of Willow Park since we've moved here 5 years ago. So I would say continue on, fight the good fight, never give up, put citizens first, be transparent, care, and remember that even the appearance of impropriety is enough to sink a ship. And know that people are always looking at us. We're leaders, right? You're leaders. You're our leaders. There's not one of you in here that hasn't had their name on the ballot that I did not vote for. Even you, Eric, who had an opponent who had withdrew, I voted for you because David had said, I'm not going to run, even though my name's, vote for Eric. I voted for you. I trusted all of you, Nathan, Sean, I trusted you. I gave you my vote. That's all I have. I give my tax money, trust you with my money, trust you with my life, trust you with my home. And that's what I give, that's what I get is a vote. So I'm not sorry that I voted for you. I just wonder sometimes what happened. What happened to us? Where did we get lost? I mean, what happened? Where did the communication breakdown happen? So I'd like to see a lot better communication, first of all. And I think if that alone was all we accomplished in 3 to 5 years, or I could help the council accomplish, that would be enough to cover all the other topics completely.
Awesome, I got one more for you. So why would you want to serve on the city council for Willow Park? And then what unique perspectives or skills do you bring that will benefit our city?
And again, my resume, I think, says it all, but for the people who don't have my resume, I started out really being a politician's wife for 26 years, first of all. That'll get you ready for politics. Treasurer campaigns, several big campaigns, statewide campaigns. Also, being the vice president of a state rural city. Pantego, Texas, you may know of it. It's surrounded by Arlington. They're neighbors to our east. And that Economic Development Corporation was a working corporation. So I had to learn to get along with it. I mean, you have to get along with everyone when you've got two boards. You've got a development board and then the city council, and they both have millions of dollars in their fund, and they're trying to figure out who gets what funds and what pays for what. So there's definitely getting along there, learning to cooperate with others. Also, having my own business for 26 plus years. I'm the president of my own subchapter S corporation. So I know a little bit about economics and finances, and then being the vice president of a corporation, which my husband was president of for over 40 years. Very successful, both of them. That also would help me, the business side of all that you have to know here to be on your city council. And then last but not least, I'm currently the statewide director for the Texas Board of Chiropractic Examiners. I'm the clinical director, so I hear complaints, accusations every single day of doctors who maybe didn't treat the patient right or was accused of not treating the patient right. So I'm in a position now where I'm sort of a mediator, I guess you might say, but also standard of care doctor, because some things are right, some things are not right. So all of those, just for starters, I think would make me a great member of your team. I believe I could work alongside every single person here. I don't disrespect any of you here. None of you. And I would be honored for the opportunity.
Thank you.
You've kind of answered some of the stuff that I would ask, so maybe to follow up a little bit more on a development side. We know that growth is coming. What would be some of your vision for the next several years of how that growth is handled, your stance on property rights as well, with the highest and best uses for property, and then just speak on your vision for that as well, please.
My vision on that is to learn as much as I can about all the issues you're talking about and utilize an incredible city manager who can help me and teach me and actually learn myself of what exactly needs to happen in this town to keep it from exploding to where people are harmed, where their rights are infringed on, where their roads have potholes, where they don't have enough water, where their electricity blows out and they have to go to a hotel 4 or 5 nights a year at minimum because their electricity's out for 3 and 4 days in a row. So they've got to go bathe at a hotel. Take care of the people first, then look at all the other topics. Again, I've never sat on a city council before. I'm not going to lie. I don't know. I'll be learning, and I'm a great learner, and I'm a great team player. But I would really count on that city manager to teach me. That's his job. That's what he's been doing. And I would make sure that I came prepared at every single meeting with a ton of questions. If that's what I had, I would not be embarrassed to ask questions. That's how I would prepare. I would study and learn and do the greatest job that any of you here have ever seen anyone do on a city council. There's no doubt in my mind I would be a great fit for you guys.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Sean?
You've answered some of these, but staying consistent, being at the end of the list, I didn't know what they had. Your thoughts on economic development and what is the city council's role in that?
Again, my history is vice president of the Economic Development Corporation there in Pantego. We were responsible for bringing in companies. We knew that that was our job. We had our big portfolio, and it's like, go find some friends that need to rent a building. Go find a restaurant that needs to open. It is your responsibility. So we were working. That was our job. Here, you have employees that do that. You have quite a few employees here in the city hall. So what's going on there? Who's doing what? So I would have to get in, see what's going on. But absolutely, growth is going to happen. You can sit and say, oh, no, it's never going to happen, but it's happening underneath us. So I'd love to be a part of it in a very positive way, controlled, positive way, to put the people first. And no matter what we ever do, it's got to be transparent. It can't be in emails. It can't be on phone calls. It's got to be out here where everyone listening can hear and then comment and ask questions. And as a council person, I think I would always, during my comments, answer them, at least address their questions.
Thank you. If appointed, what's your first priority?
I would love to sit on your committee, on your council, to bring with me kindness, honesty, energy, and heart, and integrity to the seat. Not that it hasn't had it before, but continue to serve people and serve the public. And to me, it all boils down to communication. If there's no communication, I mean, I gave you guys my votes, and there's only one of the three of you who have come up and ever introduced yourself to me, and that was after I'd come in for 4 months. And it was you, Eric. You came in and introduced yourself to me. You were the very first one. The rest of you still haven't done it. So it's like, we gotta get out. The people put you in this office. You're here to serve the people. At least meet the people. That's what I would do.
And I know you've addressed this too, but how have you served your community, boards, groups, churches, things of that nature? And if you want to include Pantego as well too, I think that's important, but if you
Thank
can
you.
address some of those.
And the question was?
Oh, the question, how have you served your community on boards, groups, churches, and different things like that?
Now?
Yes, ma'am, or in the past as well.
Oh, in the past, I think you saw my resume,
Yeah.
so.
I know, but everybody
Yeah.
didn't, so I want to give you a chance. to
State
speak.
boards, national boards, as treasurer for a national chiropractic convention group, who, I guess that was like a 3-year term. 5-year term is the rules chair for the Texas Board of Chiropractic Examiners. I was appointed by Governor Perry for that position. That was, again, volunteer, but appointment. Other than that, I'm pretty busy with dogs and a husband.
That counts, that counts. All right, Jeanette, thank you very much.
Thank you for the question.
We're in the middle or the end of our budget and tax rate season. So what do you look at when you are working on a budget and setting a tax rate?
Well, I've never set a tax rate, not gonna lie. I've set a budget for several different businesses and a national group, the chiropractic acupuncture group, but I've never been responsible solely for that entire budget. As vice president of the economic development, we were responsible for a budget. It's real important, you don't want to go over that budget. That's very important. But you also want to be realistic in that budget. And for me, again, it's not your money. It's not the council's money. It's the people's money. And to be a steward, the same way you would spend your money. Look after the money, just like you would look after it if it was in your bank account, Eric. So I would say just be very, very cautious and learn, know what every line item meant, what every line item stood for, and ask a lot of questions. And you'll do the right thing if you do that. Because I don't believe anyone in here is not a good person. So ask a lot of questions. Stay on budget.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Welcome.
Okay, I have mine real quick. How do you plan to involve the residents in the decision-making process in Willow Park?
Well, continue to encourage people to come to the meetings, for sure. There's online also. I know a lot of people watch online, so thank goodness for that. We continue that. I love the idea of town hall meetings. Maybe not here, but a town hall meeting where, if, Eric or Sean or Nathan or Scott or someone wanted to go out with the mayor and one or two of you, or it can't be a meeting, I know that, it can't be a quorum, but just meet the people at the town hall. I think everyone knows what a town hall is. And answer their questions. I think that will get you in the middle of what people are thinking and saying and hearing, and maybe squash or just push back any of the rumors that might get started because there's no communication. It's just left for everyone to just wonder what's going on. And I would like to see that, not every month, maybe 3 or 4 a year. I think that wouldn't be a bad thing. That's one thing, Mayor, that I would like to see happen, a town hall meeting.
Okay. And then what makes you most proud to call Willow Park your home?
And they're sitting to my left right now. They're the first people we met when we bought our home here 5 years ago. And it touches me because Kay runs out to our car across the street, halfway into the yard. So she's run about, I don't know, how many yards is that, 50 or 75? We see this lady just running with these papers in her hand. And I just thought, the house wasn't great. We got to remodel it and all that stuff. But I thought, it's the people. It started with her and just the first person we met. And then we met Bill, and she welcomed us, and we were just looking at the house for the very first time. And she she stole our hearts. And it's the people. It's every single person we've met and their animals. Roy walks dogs every day, and I tell you, he's met hundreds of people walking those dogs. He's probably met half of Willow Park, just walking the dogs and meeting people, and made some great friends, just lifelong, hopefully, relationships. It's definitely the people.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so, council, is there a motion for discussion?
I want to thank all three candidates who were able to speak tonight for stepping up here and offering your time. I also want to thank everybody else who did put in their names that wasn't given an opportunity. I really appreciate everybody putting in your names. I'm sorry we couldn't interview everyone, but thank you again for trying to get involved in your city. So I really appreciate that.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion?
I mean, somewhat just to echo what Eric said, we have three really excellent candidates that have different areas of expertise that I could all three of you fitting in very well, and you don't make the decisions here easy. So I think that's a blessing of riches to have that kind of ability, that kind of talent and leadership to step up in our community. And so thank you for applying. Kind of thank you for not making it easy on us, and just appreciate the time tonight.
Okay, so do we have a recommendation for a motion? The vote?
Do you want to,
How do you want to do it?
for the interest of transparency, are we discussing what we heard? What did we?
Your choice if you want to discuss any more. Scott's smiling.
I'm the new guy, so.
Sorry. I wasn't paying attention, obviously. I was writing notes. Whoops. Close
Okay.
here. Where? Here?
We're going to do the vote, yes?
I don't even get up there.
Okay, if we're out of discussion, so
Sorry, thank you.
recommend for a motion, since we're through with discussion.
I'll make a motion that we appoint Buddy Wright to finish out this term.
Second.
All in favor? Okay. All right, so Buddy Wright gets to be sworn in tonight.
These pens got to be thrown away.
I'm going to take my sweater off, greeny sweater. My greeny sweater. Okay. So you can repeat after me. Okay. In the name and by the authority of the state of Texas, I, Buddy Wright,
Right.
do solemnly swear
Solemnly swear
and affirm
affirm
that I will faithfully execute the duties of the city of office
that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office,
City Council Place 3
City Council Place 3,
of the state of Texas,
State of Texas,
and will do the best of my ability
and will do to the best of my ability
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws of the United States.
the Constitution and laws of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
He needs an agenda.
Congratulations again. Sign for
Mr. Bright.
Buddy, we're going to get you to sign, and then I'm going to sign. Is that you or me?
That would be you, because you swore him in. Will you sign right there for me, please? Thank you so much.
And then he's going to sit up here now, right?
That would be correct. Next to Mr. Scott over there. Yeah, it's.
You're not the new guy anymore.
Thank you. Okay, we have a full house. Okay, item number 9, discussion and action to consider the appointment of a deputy city secretary and/or the possible engagement of a search firm, such as SGR, the interim city secretary services. Okay, so this is, got a little update on here. So from a recent discussion I had with Ms. McMullen, she suggested to me that her anticipated absences going forward would be minimal. So I suggest that we only need one deputy city secretary. Only having one backup person avoids unnecessary confusion, and we may only need a backup for 1 or 2 more weeks at most, after talking to Dina about that. And before, there was a lot of confusion when we had 3 different people, who's on first, who's on second, it's kind of what we had. So I read the briefing sheet and would like to recommend Andy Saylor, because she is always smiling and has a very polite and friendly disposition. And also, Ms. Saylor discussed with me her desire to fill in as the deputy city secretary. And since Ms. Fisher told me weeks ago that she no longer wanted to fill in as the deputy city secretary, I recommend the appointment of Ms. Andy Saylor for this position and to advance from within our staff. So, council, is there a motion or a discussion at this time?
I'll mirror your thoughts on that. I'd like to appoint Andy Saylor in that position and let her do her thing.
Okay.
From a staff standpoint, I think Andy would be qualified to do the job, and I think this would fit her well.
Yeah, I'm excited for her. So a second?
I'll second.
Okay.
Hey, let me read it from the recommended motion, though. Motion to approve the appointment of deputy secretary and appoint the following: Andy Saylor.
Okay, thank you. And the second, back again. All in favor? Okay, thank you very much. Andy, congratulations. Got that big smile. I love that smile. Always sweet. All right. So, number 10, discussion, Texas legislative update and its impact on Open Meetings Act. This should be quick. There was only 2 of them. Updates from TOMA, bills passed earlier this year. Brian?
Yes, ma'am, thank you. This was actually intended for the August 26th meeting, so this is kind of redundant since we passed the September 1 deadline. Used to be a 72-hour notice, so in other words, if you had a meeting on Tuesday, we would post on Friday. That's actually a 96-hour notice, but you kind of get the idea. They changed the rule to where it's now 3 actual business days, and you cannot count the day you post, nor can you count the day of the meeting. So you have to have 3 business days between the day you post and the time you actually have the meeting. So Andy put a nice little chart together that I've been asking for from TML since this legislation came out, so thank you, Andy, and your staff. Since we meet on Tuesday, we will now have to meet a deadline of Wednesday to comply with the Texas Open Meetings Act. That's going to shift how we do things. Obviously, we used to put an agenda together the week before, post on Friday, have the meeting on Tuesday. Now we, actually tomorrow, we will actually have an agenda meeting tomorrow morning to go over the September 23rd agenda. And we will have to post on September 17th for the September 23rd meeting. So this is going to move things up a little bit. And so any request that council has that's not made at a council meeting, we'd appreciate that if y'all could get that to us the Friday before we post. So if you have something for the 23rd, we'd like to have an idea of what you're looking at for Friday or no later than Monday of next week, so we can get and comply with the Texas Open Meeting.
Brian, does state or federal holidays play any factor in that equation?
Sir?
State or federal holidays?
State. Yes, state holidays factor into that. Okay. So you cannot count the holiday as one of the 3 business days. The model that he has is Veterans Day as an example. I think we actually have a meeting on Veterans Day, so that wouldn't apply here. But let's just say, for example, Martin Luther King Day, which kind of comes up in January. We would not be able to count that Monday as one of the 3 business days.
Okay. That's it.
Okay, so item 11, discussion action to review the practice of having sponsorships for agenda items. Our municipal code section 1.03.035 requires that each item on the agenda is sponsored by a member of council or the mayor. Sponsored agenda items are an excellent way for the public to keep up with how each member of council prioritizes city business. This section also provides an avenue for citizens to request items for our agendas and sponsored by a member of council or the mayor. And Councilman Contreras, you had your name on this. Do you have some discussion that you would like on that?
Yes, Ms. Mayor. I was looking back through a lot of the previous agendas dating back 10 plus years ago, and I did not see names on agenda items for sponsors. So I was just kind of curious why we had a change all of a sudden.
I don't know. I guess someone didn't look at the code, from what I understand. I don't know why someone didn't follow the code, unless there's another update.
I can
on
give you an
why.
explanation, potentially. I wasn't here.
Tell me.
But, so, yeah, the item says, the code 1.03035 says, all items to be placed on the agenda, meeting agenda shall require a sponsor, period. It doesn't say the sponsor has to be posted on the agenda. So it can have a sponsor without it being stated on the agenda, but y'all now are doing that. So that may be an explanation. I don't know.
I find that very helpful to know who is sponsoring it to question. Otherwise, I wouldn't know to ask you.
Yeah,
Right?
I just, looking at it from, I don't even know how many years since, I guess, the 90s, Gene, maybe, that we haven't had that, so I was just curious why it's on there.
I have not done the research on that, so I don't know how long it's not been done, but I've appreciated it being done at this point. And I think that makes a big difference for us to see and keep track of who's sponsoring it and who requests for it to be on the agenda. I also like the idea, instead of just saying staff, to actually have a person. I think that's a great resource for us and for our citizens. So do we have discussion on that?
I would just say, from the one time I served when in the alternate mayor pro tem position and had to step in when the mayor and the mayor pro tem were both out. Also how I got my name on the Christmas lights discussion, I believe.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
That was
because I
great.
just happened
Yeah.
to be serving that night.
That's right.
I believe the packets that are prepared for you, Mayor, usually have a name of where to go. At least mine did when I would read through where to go next. So that was my understanding at the time, that that was the sponsor, and that once the item was read, you had clear direction. You'd say, for this item, Councilman Contreras, and then you'd be able to speak to it, and that initial leading was at least the starting point for the discussion, and you can say from there, it could be city manager and Councilman Smith, or whatever the case may be. So that was my interpretation of it in the past, like I said, and then how I ended up with Christmas lights attached to my name.
Again, you're welcome.
So, yes.
Yes. I appreciate that it's on there for a direction, but do we have a motion at this point? There's no more discussion?
Do you need it on I guess your concern is having it on something that you don't necessarily have your name.
Yeah, I just was
in line, like
curious why
somebody
the
gets a-
practice changed after decades. So, and I haven't seen anything in there that says to change it, so that's why I was just curious why the practice has changed.
Not decades. 2016, 2017.
Okay.
Don't know, but I like the practice, so unless someone has a problem with it, more discussion.
No, if you're good with also
I
saying
appreciate
like,
it.
that's not my area of expertise, please take my name off that one for future. If you have no
Come
issues
on,
there,
Nathan.
then I'm not trying to pass the buck on a Christmas lights.
So
I
would you
promise,
like
but
to make a motion that we keep it on there then?
It's fine for me to keep it, but I just want to be able to also say that's not my area of expertise, in all
Then
fairness.
take my name off of it,
Correct.
right?
Yes, that would be the
Okay.
only
You can put it
caveat I
on or
have.
take it off, right?
Yes, appreciate it, yes.
Okay.
So there's no action, correct? If we're not going to do
Wanna
anything,
keep it on there,
there's
we're
just
good?
no action. It was just
Yeah, you don't need to.
All right, we move
trying to
on.
understand what changed.
Okay, let's move on then. Number 12, discussion and action to approve an interlocal agreement with Parker County for jail services. We have Chief Ray Lacy. Would you like to step up? Good evening. I didn't get to say hello to you.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. I'm Ray Lacy, your police chief, and I've sponsored this item on the agenda tonight.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
And the reason for that, I don't say that to be funny, but because it's a legal document. Under 791 of the Texas Government Code, we enter into an interlocal agreement for different services, one of which y'all have already taken action on, which was our communication, meaning our dispatch service. At the time, I did not have this one. I would have brought them at the same time. I had to wait until the Sheriff's Department gave me this. So tonight, we have the interlocal agreement, which we have had for years. And this is for jail services, meaning the incarceration of individuals for an offense that's not a county charge, not a misdemeanor B or A or a felony, i.e. it's a Class C offense that would only be handled here. Typically, what you would find is we would be putting an intoxicated individual into jail. If we do that, with the interlocal agreement, the sheriff's office does house them. So if it's any Class C offense that we can arrest for, and we happen to, and I will tell you that is very uncommon for us to do, but we have to have this in place to have a place to put the person safely. The sheriff's office will house them. They house them for a fee. In case anyone was going to ask me, I just checked today. The fee as of October 1st will be just under $100 per day. A day is any day or portion of a day between 12:01 a.m. and 11:59 p.m. So if we put someone in at 11:50 p.m. and they let them out at 12:02 a.m., we owe for 2 days. But there again, it's not a big chargeable item money-wise for us, but we do have to have this in place for that. So I just ask that you, as the members of the council and the mayor, approve this, as you have in the past years, so that I can forward it back to the sheriff's office, and then the county judge and the commissioners will approve it and then we'll be good to have a place to safely put folks for traffic offense type tickets, if we should ever have to do that. But like I said, that is not the commonplace in today's world. Typically cite a citation and release. There's just a few offenses we can't do that, like a publicly intoxicated person. We have to maintain their safety. So it's either set them down and babysit them or put them in jail until they get released. Anyway, if you have any questions on that, let me know.
Okay, any discussion? No? Okay. Recommended motion.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve and continue our interlocal agreement with Parker County Jail Services.
Second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, number 13, discussion home rule charter commission report to the mayor and the council. I would like to welcome Gene Martin up again to come forward to give your first report.
Hi there, I'm
Hi
still
there.
Gene Martin.
Still are.
I think that copies were made. Did you all get a copy of the two reports?
Yes.
I had one for the last meeting, which I don't plan to go into. It simply covered that we had a formative meeting and things were going well. And things are still going well, I believe. We've had our first formative meeting, our first working meeting, and I think we had 11 people there. We have a very diverse group. A lot of different opinions are brought to the table. I think we're working through them. It's going to take a little while, but I got them to agree to a consensus approach so that as long as nobody is dead set against an idea, we can kind of put that on the table as a placeholder and then move on to the next thing. And I am quite optimistic that we will have a good product for your review to be placed on an agenda for the May election. I think the target should be to have that to you by the 1st of December. And that's meeting every other week. If we start to get into a crunch there, I will probably propose that we move to a weekly meeting. But I don't expect that will be a real problem. In fact, they don't know this. My goal for the meeting tomorrow night will be to adopt a single straw man, take one off the shelf from somebody else's city and say, this is our target. We will add to that or subtract from that, modify it, Kathy pull it to we think it's perfect for Willow Park. I do want to say that we've had really excellent support from staff. Rose has put together a nice page that has all our information available. I think that's great. Todd has been very, very helpful with, well, because of the size of the group, trying to figure out how to accommodate that in this room seemed to be difficult. And so we thought, well, let's try the conference room. And that worked very well for the last meeting. We had a half a dozen people sitting around the perimeter just as observers. I think that worked quite well. We'll see what happens if we get too many people involved. I think Rose said we had like 2,300 people watching online, which I thought was great. I'm kind of curious if that was 2,300 Willow Park citizens, but doesn't matter. I do have one potential concern. If you'll recall the presentation that Mr. Chester gave back in June, there was some discussion in fact, the slides he had, I think, identified one single disadvantage to maybe going for the home rule thing, which was cost. And the first thing on his list of examples of cost was attorney fees. And I'm quite conscious of not wanting to have this be any more costly to the city than it needs to be. I expect that the distribution of material to prepare for an election will be a single, fairly pricey effort. I don't know exactly what that's going to cost yet, but we'll probably come up with some estimates on that when we present a package to the council. We did have an attorney sitting with us for 2 hours in the first working meeting, and I actually spoke to him after the meeting, and I said, I don't see the cost benefit of you being here. So what I put in this report is a question for you. What is the criteria that we should adopt for when we should contact and get legal services provided? Anybody?
Would it be whenever we're writing or putting together a binding legal document, we would want to have an attorney present?
Well, at this point in time, we are reviewing home rule charters that other cities have adopted and therefore have gone through some proof of surviving a legal review, okay? And we are expressing our opinions as citizens about those things, and like I said, what I envision, we will be pulling together piece parts that will make an integrated whole, but the piece parts will all have already passed a legal review or any legal challenges. Quite familiar with, if you pass an ordinance, you have to put this little paragraph in there that says, if this part doesn't work because of the law, the rest of it's still okay. Okay?
Yeah, severability clause.
Right. So at this point, I'm not sure that paying for an attorney to sit there and listen to us discuss opinions is value added. But that's your call. If y'all want to fund that expense, great. I'm just saying, please don't assign that as a charge against the Home Rule Charter Commission.
Just to be clear, Eric, your suggestion was that when they go to put a charter together, we should have an attorney present?
That's what I would think, right? Whenever you're putting together a document, you probably want an attorney present. I mean, I don't know if every city and every home rule charter has been challenged. So that
They have not?
Yeah.
No, normally they are not challenged at all. The latest one that's being challenged now is the one in the city of Dallas where the charter was changed to, and it sounds popular, but it's fraught with legal issues where the city of Dallas waives immunity so that any citizen can file suit on any issue that they think the city is doing wrong on. So it invites litigation, significant litigation, so.
Wasn't that suit the result of a charter amendment election?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It wasn't in the writing of the charter, it was an amendment to the charter which caused that problem.
Yeah, that was not the original charter. It's been amended many times. Yeah, but it's the same effect. It's still still on the charter, so. My perspective, what I've said to several people in the city is that best practices in our firm is that a lawyer in our firm attend every council meeting because this acts as your constitution and every word matters and it will go on forever. So there's usually value added in my view is to be able to explain the differences and maybe the nuances and the different forms of the way charters are set up in the different languages and the different provisions. Some of them are definitely going to be more rote than others, but some of them are very significant. So that's my perspective, and I've kind of voiced that, and I understand that, I mean, what I understand right now, our involvement is I guess when the Charter Commission ends and gives its final recommendation in writing to the council, then y'all can do however y'all want to. You'll have, I think December 1's a really good point. That's early enough to do it before the council calls the election, which I think is mid-February for an early May election. So you'd be given about 2 months, although it's over the holidays, but you'll be given about 2 months to look at that, and you're going to have to look at every provision and every word to decide if you agree with it or not, or you want to change it, which is your prerogative. They're a recommending body, much like P&Z. But they do the legwork, they spend a lot of time. It is a hard-working committee. It should be a hard-working committee.
Well, and additional to that, it's not like we're going to plop something on the desk the 1st of December that,
no,
this thick. You need to give us an answer by the 2nd of December. I mean, you will be getting, we expect to be totally transparent in this whole operation. Again, the website that Rose put together, information will be continuously added to that. When we put together the first straw man, that will be a front centerpiece. And as it evolves, it will, still be available for constant review. So none of this will be a surprise. I mean, our intent will be to put together a package that everybody in town is going to love. That's a goal.
I just want to throw something out, and because Annie kind of brought it up as well, and Gene, thank again for putting all this together and leading it up. The things I question the most about this, about not having legal counsel versus having legal counsel there is that, as you mentioned, y'all are taking bits and pieces, and there's multitude of ways how home rule can be ran. There's multiple sections of how that is.
Right.
So I feel comfortable, even though I want to be fiscally responsible to everybody here, I feel comfortable by having legal counsel there as well to help make those amendments and make those judgments. Because again, out of the 11 or 14, I don't know how many have ever been on a charter, have ever understood how a charter works. I don't at all. But just to have the understanding, and not, like you said before, not have one person tell you this is how it is or this is how it works.
Right.
And so that's where I like having the legal counsel there, is to help kind of guide you. I'm glad Rose is there to make those notations and everything else like that, but she's definitely not legal counsel either. And so to look at her for how this would be adopted or anything like that, I don't want to put that pressure on her either. This is important. It's important to all of our citizens. It's important to everything that Willow Park has. So for me, the cost is invaluable as far as having legal counsel there during these meetings. That's just my 2 cents.
I would agree. Legal counsel would be necessary. I reviewed a document today for work, and our lawyer came back and said, change to on. And something as simple as that. And if we are kind of picking pieces from different ones that are, I want to make sure that those parts work in harmony and that they're
Right.
not, we're not going to have to come back over.
You made me think of something, though. I'm just an engineer, and I worked in the F-16 engineering project office, and they communicated with the Air Force Special Project Office, and most of the communication went through the lawyers. And so one day I got this thing from the lawyers that they were going to send a message to the SPO, and it only had 2 paragraphs, and I read it, and kind of convoluted. So I read it about 4 times. And then I went back to the lawyer and I said, does this paragraph mean, and I kind of paraphrased it. Second paragraph, does it mean, he said, yeah. I said, why don't you just say it that way? Well, the result of that was it normally took like 45 days to cycle. You sent a message to the SPO and they kind of looked at it and it came back. It take about 45 days. I actually got an answer in like a week when it was actually stated in the clear. Okay, so do you have any questions about either of these reports I've given you? And if you don't have any right now, feel free to contact me later. Like I said, I want to make sure there is no question about what we're doing, how we're doing it, where we expect to get. Okay?
Thank you, Gene.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Gene.
Thanks.
Gene, I brought up,
I am somewhat disappointed because nobody's ever asked me if I'm nervous.
Gene,
Don't sit
I brought
down.
a treatise for you. I don't know if you have it or not. It's Blodgett's on Texas Home Rule Charters. You may have it. If you don't, it's for y'all to digest and use. It compares different types of provisions of all the different charters. It's pretty well established, but it's
I think
old.
it was Mr. Smith said that you weren't sure how many people were on the commission that have done this before.
Yeah.
There's only one.
Thank you, Gene.
Thank you, Gene.
Okay, next, in accordance with the Texas Governmental Code, Chapter 551, Chapter D, the City Council will recess into executive session to discuss items 10 through 12 under the following Texas Open Meetings Act exceptions. So item 14, section 551.071, consultation with attorneys, section 551.074, personnel matters, city manager, employment agreement, severance agreement. Item 15, section 551.071, consultation with city attorney, section 551.087, economic development negotiations, Dean Ranch Development. Item 16, Section 551.071, consultation with city attorney regarding pending or contemplated litigation, Belledine Ranch Development, demand letter from the city of Fort Worth and the city of Aledo. Item 17, Section 551.074, personnel matters, deliberate the appointment of Planning and Zoning Commission members. The time right now is 8:08. The City Council will now recess into executive session. Thank you. Regular session to consider action of any matters discussed in executive sessions. It's 10:04. And the council will now reconvene into the regular session. Council, is there a motion for discussion and action number 14 through 17?
14.
Sorry. Yes, on item 14, I'd like to make a motion to authorize the city attorney to negotiate with the city manager's attorney for 1, a severance agreement, or alternatively 2, a contract agreement extension as discussed in executive session.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, so now number 18. Discussion and action on possible engagement of search firms such as SGR for the interim city manager services. Based on what we just discussed, that sounds like a moot point, correct?
I would agree.
Okay, moot point. Okay. Do we have any city manager comments tonight?
Yes, ma'am. I got two quick announcements. One, the TML annual conference will be October 29th through the 31st. If you would like to attend that conference, we'll pay the registration fees. And we also have an invitation from some law firm named Messer Fort for their celebration of appreciation dinner on the 29th. So if you'd like to make the trip over to Fort Worth, let us know and we'll get you registered and set up.
Okay, so city council comments?
One
any?
more. I'm sorry, Madam Mayor, one more.
One more.
National Night Out is October the 7th from 5 to 8 at the district.
Gotcha. Now, city council comments? Any?
Agenda item for consideration. Should we potentially have another town hall or update for the Squaw Creek residents in regards to the road and water project? Is that something the council will want to entertain?
Yes.
Okay.
I think we've been trying to schedule a follow-up for what we call the side streets, Cactus, Yucca, Verde. Then we were trying to schedule another town hall for that as well.
Perfect.
Okay.
And, sorry, go ahead, please. Go ahead, please.
I would say, once again, thank you to the people that spoke tonight. It was a good discussion, and I just keep staying involved to everybody that's out there. There was one point in time that through an appointment of a city council member, through the process, I passed on Sean and Scott, and yet they still sit up here and work with me today. This is not a time to stop. It's a time to continue because you never know when you'll be needed again. So to the citizens, keep showing up, keep staying involved, and keep finding those ways to serve because we need you. And then secondly, with the open discussion we had tonight, I really enjoyed having it in open session. So thank you for your guidance on that. I was going to say perhaps another discussion action item would be to set standards, if we could, for how the process will work for appointments and council and all of those things so that there isn't I feel like we went through about 20 different things trying to figure out how it was going to work between our different council meetings and how we did all this. So just finding a set standard for how we do this so that we have our go-to and we can point people in the right direction if and when, because it will happen. So that would be my request for an agenda item.
This one's a little more personal. I want to give a huge thanks and kudos to Chase for running me around last week. Last Friday, I had the opportunity. We were going to take an hour, went an hour and 45 minutes. That's how awesome it was. He took me around to every water site, every well site, basically gave me the entire layout of how our water system works, just everything and the infrastructure piece to it. Chase is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to that and the technology that we have behind that and everything else. I was blown away by what we have in place and just seeing it first action of everything. So I just wanted to thanks Chase again for running me around.
Are you willing to do that again for the new rookie? Thank you.
Okay, is that it for the council?
I do want to say thank you to everybody that put in for the council seat. It was a good group. The three that got interviewed tonight made it a tough decision. Buddy, congratulations.
Thank you.
But it's good to see people step up like that. And I was pretty impressed with the open forum. I like it. So if we can get that into a policy, I think that's great. Also, I want to kudos to our police department. They had one of their drug cases go to trial, and it ended today. I was leaving the courthouse at 5:05 when the jury came out, and they gave the defendant life in prison for dealing fentanyl in Willow Park.
Wow. Hey. Okay, is that it for the council? Okay. So I agree, open sessions, I mean, we want to be out in open sessions versus closed. That's what the citizens kept telling me, so I appreciate getting to do that. It was wonderful. I would also like to request on an agenda item to address the Bankhead Highway extension during the September 8th, the next meeting, to discuss that date is wrong.
23rd.
The 23rd, to discuss the project, receive a report from Derek Turner, and discuss the funding options for the bridge. So that, had a meeting with Mike Hale on that, and we'd like to do a follow-up. We have some information to go over with that. So Dina, I wanted to put that out there if we can. And other than that, do I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second, all in favor at 10:11. Thank you.